featuring live string band music from the Grand Central Serenaders alongside Sister Noyz Radio DJs. Admission $10 to enter. Plus, receive a complimentary drink on entry. Lots of attractive prizes to be won, so you can't miss it. Saturday, November 3rd, Sister Noyz Radio Anniversary Party. The Coconut Bar will be turned up.
Everybody get ready now. We know business.
B&N Business Service Inc. with Grenada's very own Dr. Natasha Bola, paralegal and notary public. Visit her today at 1705 Church Avenue, Brooklyn, Suite 203, or call to make an appointment 347-435-0202 for all types of services: immigration, consulting, taxes, business plans, resumes, wills, and a whole lot more. Don't spend time and resources on what could be easily avoided. Get the professional advice you need today. Call 347-435-0202. Get the professional advice today from B&N Service Inc., 1705 Church Avenue, Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah. Once again, it's another Jamboree time. I'm Spice Ram, the Immortal One. And yes, if you're listening via CRFM 89.5 or Liberty FM 92.3 or Sister Isle Radio 92.9, I hope that you do remember that there is a time change, a difference in time between us here in the US and you there in the Caribbean. Each year around this time, our clock goes back 1 hour. So it's now 2:17 in the Caribbean. I mean, in the USA, sorry, and Canada. But it is 3:17 in the Caribbean. So once again, remember, it is Sunday and it's Jamboree time. We're having a guest later on in another couple of minutes or so. I will say, let's say another 45 minutes at the top of the hour. Of 3 my time, 4 your time. And that will be Dr. Francis Alexis. But for this moment, for this time right here, we're going to go into some music, and it was some great music coming out to the land of spice where everything is nice. The focus is on the referendum on Tuesday. The CCJ voting for the CCJ, Caribbean Court of Justice, as our last Court of Appeal in the Supreme Matters. It means I don't touch the politics, but it is sad when people playing partisan politics with issues that is beneficial to the country and to the people of the country. And the sad part about it is that some of them are doing it, and the way that they're doing it, if they're fighting against something that is even beneficial for they themselves. And if they have to somehow go out to the Privy Council, they ain't got the money. They ain't have the money, but at the same time, they're telling you don't vote for the CCJ because they're using all kind of rhetoric to change the whole truth about it. That is sad. Real sad. It's beyond sad. And what's even more sad, that I am not there. I'm not down on the ground in Greater Carriacou and Petit Matinee, but I've been following this thing step by step every day as much as I can. And one of the things I know for a fact is that the CCJ committee and other people that is trying to, they are trying to bring the knowledge to the folks about what it's all about. And still some people telling you, well, I have all the information. I know what it's all about. If you don't take a step off that brick that you're standing on, you will never take a journey. A journey begins with a step, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. That's the way a journey begins. All right? But as I said to someone on via WhatsApp yesterday, if it was about a party, a fete, something along the line, they would have every ounce of information they want to have. All right? We pretend that we don't know, and we pretend we don't want to know. We turn a blind ear a lot of the times to the thing that is more beneficial to us because we are afraid of change. Change is what many of us are afraid of. I'm not exempting myself from it. We all are afraid of change some way, some shape and form. Trust it. Once again, it is Sunday Jamboree time. I'm Spice from the Mortal One. I'm going to give you something like this. The voice of African teller. We got to have faith. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique.
Carry me through. Many keep trying to destroy my name because of jealousy. They're doing everything Babylon can do to destroy to my family. They sleep on my bed, eat to my bread, no one to see me dead. But Father, I have faith in only you. Father, I have faith you will carry me through. Father, I have faith in only you. Father, I have faith you will carry me through. I have faith in you, I have faith. Father, I have faith in you, I have faith. I have faith in you, I have faith. Father, I have faith in you. For years they pretend to be my friend, they lean knocking at my door. But now because of evil politics, same said no me no more. I teach them to sing, phrase with I mean, now them doing the backstabbing. But Father, I have faith in only you. Father, I have faith you will carry me through. Father, I have faith in only you. Father, I have faith you will carry me through. I have faith in you, I have faith. Father, I have faith in you, I have faith. I have faith in you, I have faith. Father, I have faith in you.
Like to take a moment to say good afternoon to Violet Blue, Miss Hagley. Good afternoon, Lady Sybil. How you doing, Mr. Watson? How you going? What's TNT today, brother? What's like in TNT today? And to the folks out there, out there, the Subies in the Marquee area, Miss Williams. Good afternoon to your entire household. In only you. Want to say good afternoon to Fico.
I have faith you will carry me through. Father, I have faith in only you. Father, I have faith carry me through. I have faith in you, I have faith. Father, I have faith in you, I have faith. I have faith in you, I have faith. Father, I have faith in you.
Oh yes, the voice of African Seller. We got to have faith as a people. You know what is funny? You guys as Grenadians, right? We as Grenadians, and I'm talking about Grenadian kayaks and the Petit Martiniquans, everybody in the Tri-Island state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Those that are outside of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique also. You put the trust into the ruling party, and this is not because I am being political. This is just a fact. You put your trust by 15 seats to 0 in the ruling party, which is the NMP of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, right? Because you trust them to lead the country, okay? That is from my outside view. I'm looking in, and that's what I observe. That's what the rest of the entire world has observed. That we, the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, gave a mandate to the NMP party to rule for the next 5 years. And you rejected the oppositions, right? But you're questioning the leadership when they bring something that is beneficial to you, the people of Grenada. It is really, really funny. It's so ironic. But we also have to remember, some folks say the devil is a busy man. And we sit back sometimes and we cannot forget our past. We cannot forget the people that before had led you down the wrong road. Just 2 elections before that, what happened? You gave them a chance, and what happened? What happened? They had to come and have the early elections because they wasn't carrying the mandate of the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Now you're going to sit back and listen to them and the rhetoric and the falsehood that they're preaching about. It's upsetting to see that educated people who knows better will take that type of road just to mislead people for their benefit, just because they think or they figure it will benefit them some way down the line politically. It's sad, real sad. It is just mind-boggling, is what I would say. Remember, it is Sunday, it's Jamboree. It is not a political show. It is not a talk segment. But sometimes you have to come out with the rhyme and reason and touch on certain things. And today is one of those days. But before I go any further, I want to play this one. To all fellow Grenadians, far and wide. Hey, PJ! Mr. Saga Bus coming down the road. Watch out now.
Now we shall know who's serious but struggle, like those who show they could rise from the rubble of devastation with patriotism and dedication for our reconstruction. Oh, Grenada, land of my birth, the way you suffered. Oh, how it hurts. Those tribulations you had to bear will make Superman want to despair. But the blood of a martyr must not be shed in vain. Oh no, we must rise and shine again.
The maddest radio station on the island, CRFM
89.5.
The military treachery, but we can't return to the old time hypocrisy. Don't sell nobody your days of reality. because only we could chart our destiny. Oh, Grenada, land of my birth, the way you suffered, oh, how it hurts, those tribulations you had to bear, will make Superman want to despair. But the blood of a martyr must not be shed in vain. Oh no, we must rise and shine again.
Oh yes. As Grenadians, home and abroad, you got to be proud.
As of October 83, so it's important to be vigilant for false prophets, anarchists and hypocrites. Oh, Grenada, land of my birth, the way you suffer, oh, how it hurts, those tribulations you had to bear, will make Superman want to despair. But the blood of a martyr must not be shed in vain.
Oh no,
we must rise and shine again.
The voice of the Black Wizard. That was Wizard. As you know, Mr. McCulkin out there in Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitchy Martinique. And before I go any further, I got another Wizard on the mix-up, but I like to play this one.
Mad.
The maddest radio station on the island, CRFM
89.5.
This grand celebration, endless jubilation, when independence day comes around. We keep saying we are free to chant our own destiny. There's no more mother country. But don't care how we dance up in the street, our independence is not complete. So come let we rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. Caribbean people, this is another chance to advance towards total independence. Those who strip the right from we should never ever be in charge of our apex court. We have in the Caribbean men and women of distinction. So for the CCJ you must vote. Come let me rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. I know Marisho would have been proud to say, oh yeah, the CCJ on the way. ransom. That was the slogan from Georgetown to Belmont. We get legislature, executive power, beautiful flags and anthems. The judiciary, an important pillar, is still in the hands of the colonizer. So come let we rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. Caribbean people, this is another chance to advance towards total independence. Why should those who don't understand our customs and traditions be in charge of our apex court? We have in the Caribbean men and women of distinction. So for the CCJ we must vote. Come let we rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. I know that Williams would have been proud to say, oh yeah, the CCJ only way.
One thing I know for a fact, that you see when you travel outside the Caribbean region and you reside in places like North America, Canada, Europe, and so such areas, you'll understand the importance of accessible justice. But don't take my word for it. Ask somebody that knows. In the meantime,
strong institutions, CDB, ECCB, and UE are quite clearly testimonies. Come let me rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. Caribbean people, this is another chance to advance towards total independence. Those who held us in slavery should never ever be in charge of our apex court. We have in the Caribbean men and women of distinction. So for the CCJ you must vote. Come let me rally around the CCJ without delay. Not tomorrow, but today. I know that Manley would have been proud to say, oh yeah, the CCJ on the way.
we down to the wire. We only got one more day. On Tuesday, November the 6th, Grenadians go to the polls once again.
I know that Bradshaw would have been proud to say, oh yeah.
It is only the people, not the Prime Minister, not the ministers, not the government, but you, the people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Hold that progress in your hands. You, the people. Remember that. So if you fail, if it fails, it's not the government that failed. It's not the ministers that failed. It's not the Prime Minister that failed. But you, the people. Think about that. In the meantime.
I know that Compton would have been proud to say, oh yeah, this is the only way.
And with the names that he just called in that song right there, he's making reference to all the heads of states in the region in the past who was dire to bring regional unity for one Caribbean. Remember that. Mr. Austin, sir, good afternoon to you and the family. How you doing, my brother? Oh, I got to apologize to you. And I was in your neck of the woods last week. And listen, I really forgot to reach out to you. My humblest apologies. But I'll make sure I do the next time, all right? Glad to see you on the check-in. All right. We going back one more wizard. This one is all. I'm playing this one for all you beautiful ladies. Grenada, Carriacou, the entire Caribbean region. For you beautiful ladies. Let's go. Woman, hold your head high. That's the name of this one. Mr. Alfred John and family. Yes, you're grinning like a Cheshire cat, ain't you?
Because of hang-ups and old complexes, they say you are the weaker of the sexes. But don't you fall for that thinking, my sister, and let no one make you feel inferior. You have, just like me, the capability to be whatever you want to be. Woman, hold your head high. Your limit is the sky. Courage you must show, like Mrs. Anino, Deminita Barrow, and Benazibuto. Woman, come hold my hand. Let us build a nation.
I want to say good afternoon to the Jacks family. Good afternoon to the Jacksons family. How you guys doing on this beautiful Sunday? Yes, Mr. Jacks, I saw your instructions. I saw your instructions, and I'm going to do that just for you and the family. Yeah, man, I'm going to play it back from the TOP. Lady Big Red, how you doing? Lady friend?
All because of hang-ups and old complexes, they say you are the weaker of the sexes. But don't you fall for that thinking, my sister, and let no one make you feel inferior. You have, just like me, the capability to be whatever you want to be. Woman, hold your head high. Your limit is the sky. Courage you must show, like Mrs. Anino, Deminita Barrow, and Benazibuto. Woman, come hold my hand. Let us build a nation.
We got to remember the women of our nation is the backbone of our nation.
Woman, don't be a victim of tradition, and just be prepared to stay in the background. This is a new era, my darling, when women the world over are rising. Don't sit down and ball, it is a man's world. Woman, maximize your potential. Woman, hold your head high. Your limit is the sky. You could be a queen, like Jan Celestine. Show woman power, like Florence Joyner. Woman, come hold my hand. Let us build a nation. Woman, no more must you live in subjection. It's time you fight for your liberation. If you only turn the pages of history, heroines you will see a plenty, like Jamaica's Nanny, Queen Nefertiti, Jacqueline Queff and Indira Gandhi. Woman, hold your head high. Your limit is the sky. Be a warrior, a freedom fighter, like your black sister in South Africa. Woman, come hold my hand. Let us build a nation.
Want to say good afternoon to Mr. J. Wonder. What's good, my brother? It's been a minute. Saw you walking down Winthrop the other day, but by the time I turn around, I know where you went, boy. For a tall man, you could disappear fast.
Woman, we must never fight down each other, but team up to defeat the oppressor. We both were oppressed by the system of slavery and colonialism. We both cut the cane in the sun and rain. We both know what is sorrow and pain. Woman, hold your head high. Your limit is the sky. Come and be a pan, be a custodian, be a carpenter, if you desire. Woman, come hold my hand. Let us build a nation.
Let's walk hand in hand. Let's build a nation, folks. Oh my gosh. What profound words. Lyrics. Message in the music, huh? It's Sunday afternoon and it's Jamboree. I have one more with that boy. What? A classic of classics on this Sunday show. Yes, Jax. Yes, Jax. You're having a ball, eh? If you remember this one, sing along. Let's go.
All your third world countries, you really feeling this squeeze. Only empty treasuries and bankrupt economies. You can't balance your budget, you're riddled with foreign debt. But I don't mind any loan I give to you. Once you keep in line and do as I say to do. Anything you nationalize, just be prepared to privatize. If you really want my money, devalue the currency. Like Grenada government, institute retrenchment, and to your Christ for mercy and death. Because I am the IMF. Look what I do, Guyana, and also Jamaica. Now I have you, Trinidad. I've already hit you hard. You had so much oil money, now you're running to me. But I don't mind any loan I give to you. Once you keep in line and do as I say to do. Anything I tell you, obey. Like you cut public workers pay. If you really want my money, remove all the subsidies. You could kill one another, like in Venezuela. To your Christ for mercy and death. Because I am the IMF. Just ask Mr. Voodoo, and he's going to tell you I ain't give a single thing about people suffering. For your economic ills, you just swallow my pills. I don't mind any loan I give to you. Once you keep in line and do as I say to do. You got to cut your social programs. You got to manage them trade unions. If you really want my money, no left ideology. In the United Nations, what your voting pattern?
Cause you cries for mercy, I'm deaf. Because I am the IMF. Since the days of slavery, you built my big cities. You took your independence, thinking that you would advance. But consumer societies is what you will always be. But I don't mind any loan I give to you. Once you keep in line and do as I say to do. But a man without a debate, you got to increase the interest rates. If you really want my money, my motto is austerity. The people could riot, who the hell care about that? And to your cries for mercy, I'm deaf. Because I am the IMF.
Once again, the Black Wizard, and that one is IMF, at which time he was known as the Wizard. You know, he changed, dropped the black and just went with Wizard on that track, by which time when he sang that one. All right, so it is Sunday afternoon. It's the Jamboree once again. I'm Spice from the Immortal One. And remember, folks, we'll be having Dr. Francis Alexis via the phone line coming in a few minutes to touch on some vital important information about the CCJ, a Grenada, which our island of Spice, Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, will be venturing once again to the polls on Tuesday, the 6th of November. All right, so get everyone around the radio, CRFM 89.5 family, and get your folks, you know, if you still have some kind of a doubt, you're still looking for something to sway or make a decision upon, this is the time to just take a listen. Let's put party aside. Let's put partisan politics down. All right? And listen. Let us do what it is beneficial for us. Okay? All right. Kero. Mr. Protein, sir. This is Squeezy on a Sunday. Jamboree.
lover, you got to ritually chaptize. Oh baby, I feel to fat tonight, honey. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. If you fetting, you got to fat me right, baby. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. Fat me, baby, fat with all your might, honey. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. She want to ball, oh yeah. She want to ball, aye. She want to ball, oh yeah. She want to ball, aye. She want to ball, oh aye, oh aye, oh aye, oh aye. Shouting out, don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. Don't think I can't. She leave me to wonder what's going on. When she started whining in different direction. Well, whoever thought that she could have whine so. More the music than the lady just wants more. And although I tried to get away, she continued to shout and sing. Oh baby, I feel to fat tonight, honey. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. If you fatting, you got to fat me right, baby. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. Fat me, baby, fat with all your might, honey. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. She want to ball, oh yeah.
She want to ball.
Aye.
She want to ball.
Oh,
She want to ball.
she want to ball. Oh, I, shouting out. Don't think I can take it. Don't think I can make it. Don't think I can't.
The voice of Squeezy
Think I can take
on the Sunday Jamboree.
Think I can't. Don't think I can make it. Still, don't think I can't. Don't think I can take it shallow. Don't think I can't.
Hey, hey.
Don't think I can take it shallow.
Who say can't pay scans? Well, you're mad.
Think I can take it Frankie.
The original
Don't think I can take it Tommy. Don't think
cannot duplicate.
I can take it. Don't think I can't.
Once again, the voice of Squeezy. It is Sunday afternoon. It is the Jamboree time. And before we go to the phone line, somebody request this one.
All you pain, all you like people business.
Hey.
From the right man, yes. Fire for fireman.
If you remember this.
Sing it.
Oh gosh. Queen's Park Savannah. Well, we used to say Queen's Park Pavilion. We didn't have Savannah. We had a pavilion. The magical Sunday night.
Because I sing in few calypso.
Hey.
All kind of wrong things what me people know.
African teller.
Into one driving. All you pain, all you like people business. All in the front, the right man, yes. Fire for fireman. Sing it. Good guy. Good guy. Good guy. Just because I sing in few calypso. All kind of wrong things what me people know. First they know some walking to one driving. Rumors all over about me they spreading. But I want them know that I'm conscious is just ain't bread. And no way hypocrites like them could ever frustrate my head. So to all those who like rumor, here is more to say about Teller. Cause it's me who killed Bishop and mash everything up. Die bunny treasury and thief all the money. So look you hear me. Cause I like it, kind me down. Oh God, it sounds sweet, kind me down. All them hypocrites, kind me down.
May he rest in peace. Message in the music, eh?
Cost of living here keep rising daily. Unemployment rampant in this country. Prostitution is a priority. Up to now that them bullets can see. But of course they come out to destroy me with their cheap limits. Man, even my children mother too, they make fault for it. Because she too, she lambaste me, telling everyone I'm nasty. Cause me that is profit, and beat them with the cow shit. Man, me that is prison, and Alex is them wicked man. So they to hear me cry me down. Because I like it, cry me down.
Once again, good afternoon, Brother Charlie. How the family doing?
Oh God, it sounds sweet, cry me down.
Bertha, how you feeling? St. Lucia family.
Politician here keep writing and playing, while taxpayer money going down the drain. Agriculture gone so low it's a shame. AIDS and drugs flowing down here like rain. But a humble guy like me who fighting for a living. Them bypass it out and on my back they keep on stabbing. Cause they see me as Judas, what they should know for them last. You see I don't monkey, jumping from party to party. Give me all of them food for man to sell out grenada. So look again, me cry me down. Because I like it. Oh God, it sounds sweet. All day people keep cry me down. Cry me down, tell them. Oh God, oh God. As some kids them Indian come walking wrong. Now they own Grenville and half a tongue. We hospital condition out of bung. To be in the hell gates you're going down. Yet we doctors and nurses have to work with such condition. We don't have equipment for a simple operation. You see what's on Catholic over, so all you sit down and can tell her I is those minister that every day buy new car. But they're still going on TV. They tell me they love the country. So look at hear me cry me down. Because I like it. Oh God, it sounds sweet. All them hypocrite. Tell them. Oh Lord. Oh God.
Lady Chapman, how you doing? Sunday dinner ready yet? Gotta pass up Krong Heights, you know. Oh yeah!
As a hard food choice thing, that wicked Sammy Queen.
Way down. We gotta stop crying down each other. We gotta start lifting up each other. It is for our benefit to walk hand in hand as a people, not only as Grenadians, Caracunians and Petit Manicans, but as a Caribbean region.
Iron food diva. Married man bride.
It is imperative. That's what I gotta say. It's imperative.
That is Michael Noel.
Oh man.
Noel.
Grenadians far and wide.
Oh God.
We going to the phone line. I think we have a connection. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Dr. Alexis. How are you doing?
Hello?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Very low.
You hear me very low. Let me see what I can do with that. What about... you hear me low. All right. You should be able to hear me a little bit better now. Did it make any difference?
Yes, you're just at the end there, yes.
Yes. Okay, great. Once again, I'd like to thank you for taking the time once again to share some light on the matter of the CCJ as Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique once again goes to the polls for a cause of making the CCJ our final Supreme Court of Appeal. How are you doing today, sir? Okay. You there?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
I thought you'd gone away.
No. We're still here. All right, sir. So once again, let's jump in right away because I don't know how much time you have. That you're available for this afternoon.
I'm at your disposal.
Well, all right. So we got some time then. For someone who has been championing this cause, not just this time around, but the first time around, and going back at it a second time, what is one of the things that bother you, if I may ask, in this matter this time around?
I am by nature a positivist. I look on the positive side of things.
Mm-hmm.
It is naturally not a happy thing that you see people who must know the truth.
Yes.
Spreading falsehoods.
Yes.
For example, only Friday afternoon we caught them red-handed.
Mm-hmm.
We put out a video showing the car of a member of parliament,
mm-hmm.
and the commentator is saying, here is the Honorable Clement Tobias.
Okay.
Going around asking people to vote no. And that was a total fabrication. The Honorable member came out about half an hour later and said that's an absolute untruth.
Mm-hmm.
There's no truth to it. So we have since put out a statement. As a matter of fact, as we speak now, something is going on the WhatsApp from the Caribbean Court of Justice Advisory Committee,
mm-hmm.
drawing attention to that, and we are seeing a spate of that going on right now. The only good thing about this emergence of these blatant falsehoods is that they may be seen as telling us that the naysayers are getting desperate, that they realize that they can't win if you have regard to the truth of the matter. What is the truth of the matter, if I may? The truth of the matter is this. In 2016, there were 7 bills before the people.
Yes.
Of the 7 bills, the one which drew most attention was the CCJ bill. By that I mean, if in relation to each bill of the 7 bills,
right,
you total the yes votes and the no votes, more people voted in relation to, I am not saying in favor of,
right,
I'm saying in relation to the CCJ bill than any other bill, which meant that people wanted another conversation on that bill alone.
Right.
So that's why we are here having this conversation on that bill alone.
Okay. That makes sense. But, one of the things that they have going around is the fact that, and I think, again, it is so wrong to mislead people, is the fact that if Grenadians were to vote, and when I say Grenadians, I include the Tri-Island state, the Grenada, Carriacou, Petit Martinique, that if we were to vote yes on the CCJ, that will give the present government of Grenada the right to change up the constitution in any way, shape, or form that they see it fit.
Nothing could be further from the truth than that.
Right.
The bill contains 31 clauses. I will take less than 3.5 minutes to walk you through the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Clause 1 is simply the short title telling you how to call the bill.
Right.
Constitution of Grenada, CCJ, and renaming of Supreme Court Amendment Bill for that act.
Okay.
Clause 2 tells you how to interpret phrases in the bill. For example, the Caribbean Court of Justice means the Caribbean Court of Justice established under the agreement established in the CCJ. Clause 3. Now, let me explain this. There are separate clauses in the Constitution of Grenada where you will see the expression Her Majesty in Council. That's the final appellate body.
Right.
Her Majesty in Council means the Privy Council. The Privy Council goes by different names. Her Majesty in Council, the Privy Council, Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. As a matter of fact, the Privy Council judges almost always refer to their court as the board.
Okay.
The reason being that across the centuries, when the British came to the Caribbean, say first in St. Kitts in 1625, Her Majesty had a Privy Council, different committees of that council.
Mm-hmm.
Some of those committees were concerned with promoting board. So even today in Britain, you still have the Board of Trade.
Right.
So the Privy Council was like a Board of Trade, and that's why the lordships refer to themselves as the board. I'm telling you all of that to make the point that if you go through the bill, you will see sometimes it is referring to specific provisions in the Constitution. For example, Clause 3 says that Section 16 of the Constitution is altered in subsection 4, which is interpreting the word court, and it says court includes Her Majesty in Council. So Clause 3 of the bill is saying, go to Section 16, subsection 4 of the Constitution. You will see the phrase Her Majesty in Council. Remove that phrase and substitute the Caribbean Court of Justice. So you have that sort of specificity in which the bill zeroes in on specific clauses in the Constitution and says to you, wherever you see the phrase Her Majesty in Council, delete it and put the Caribbean Court of Justice. That's so in Clause 3. It is so in Clause 4, in Clause 5, in Clause 6, Clause 7, Clause 8.
Right.
Now, Clause 8 is the engine room of the appeals to the Privy Council.
And
in that Clause 8 of the bill is referring to Section 103, and likewise Clause 9, Section 104. It is in Section 104 that you see provisions for appeals to the Privy Council as of right, or with permission of the Court of Appeal here in Grenada, or with permission of the Privy Council. And they are telling you now in Clause 9, go through that Section 104 and replace it entirely, remove it, and turn it, so to speak, turn it from the Privy Council Appeals Clause into the Caribbean Court of Justice Appeals Clause.
Right.
Precisely. And so every clause in the bill does that. In theory, you could have had a one-clause bill, and the clause would simply have said, wherever in the Constitution you see the phrase Her Majesty in Council, delete it and substitute Her Majesty in Council. However, for the sake of completeness, the bill goes to the Constitution clause by clause, wherever there appears the expression Her Majesty in Council, and the bill tells you, remove that expression and substitute for it the Caribbean Court of Justice. So that there is no chance of this bill being used for any purpose other than two purposes. One, wherever in the Constitution you see Her Majesty in Council, delete it, and put instead the Caribbean Court of Justice. Purpose 2. Grenada is the only country on earth where the Eastern Caribbean Regional Supreme Court is called the Supreme Court of Grenada and the West Indies Associated States.
Okay.
There is no West Indies Associated State. The last was St. Kitts. It became independent in 1983. And even in the colonies like Montserrat, the Virgin Islands, Anguilla, they don't call the court by any name referring to West Indies Associated States. All of them, every country in the world calls the court the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. The only country where this is not so is Grenada. So the second part of the bill, similarly, is going through the Constitution and saying wherever you see a reference to West Indies Associated States, remove it and put the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court. Those are the only two matters dealt with in the bill, and the bill is very specific and confined absolutely to those two items.
Oh, I see. So in the reference of the Grenada Eastern Court, you're making that change, and then in the matter of the Privy Council, we're making that other change. So it's just those two changes, and
only those two changes. The bill cannot be used for any other purpose whatsoever. As a matter of fact, as you say so, let me see what the long title to the bill says. Now, the long title to the bill is that part of the bill which introduces the bill and tells you what it intends to do. And this is what it says.
Right.
An act to alter the Constitution of Grenada to provide for the establishing of the Caribbean Court of Justice as the final appellate court for Grenada in substitution for Her Majesty in Council, and to provide for the renaming of the Supreme Court in Grenada to be the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court.
Okay. So, but, you know, it baffles the mind to try to figure out where they came up with. First of all, they were for it up until last Friday or so, right? Because based on all of what you've been hearing, what I've been hearing for the last couple of weeks, there were people out there from the NDC sec fraction was saying that they support it and it's a good thing for them to do. And then just is like a tactical ploy that they had. It seemed as though it was set that way, that we will pretend to go along with it up until the last minute. All right? And then we'll create this disturbance of this disturbance in people's mind, right? And have them up in the air thinking hard, and then because sometimes we know that once you throw someone off the thinking path, they get uncomfortable. Once they get uncomfortable, they shut down. All right? So
yes,
from my perspective, it is a tactical effort on their part. But when you lay it out in the manner which you just did, just precisely giving the information what the bill specifies, right? The two areas where it specifies. How can you, if you may, think what other objective can they gain when they say that it is? Because I know that anything in the Constitution of Grenada, CARICOM, Petit Martinique has to be changed. It has to go back into a referendum. Isn't that?
Most of the provisions of the Constitution, yes.
Right. So what else in the Constitution basically they will say that it is misleading to the people where they could just change the Constitution as they see it fit?
They are not giving any specifics, and they cannot give any specific because it is wholly untrue. As a matter of fact, the background you give there is very helpful, and we can build on it. All along, they were coming along. They said they had some concerns about electoral matters.
Yes.
And there were discussions between the government and themselves on the electoral matters. Up till when Prime Minister Skerrit of Dominica came here, must be about, 3 weeks ago or so?
Yeah, shy of a month.
I remember that the leader of the NDC, Mr. Andel, was on the platform down at Wester Hall down there.
Yeah, I remember it.
All going on.
Mm-hmm.
No. All that time, there was nothing wrong with the bill, and I pointed this out to Grenada time and again. All that time, the NDC had no problem with the bill at all. As soon as the talks broke down, then came hell and high water flooding the country.
Oh.
Then they started to find all kinds of faults. But look at this. Had those talks not broken down, had NDC gotten what they wanted out of the talks, you would not have heard any complaint about any provision in the bill at all.
Yes.
It is only because they did not get what they wanted out of the talks. Lo and behold, you have the sour grapes syndrome emerging.
It's not a laughing matter, but sometimes you just have to, sit back and just take a laugh. Because
now, let me tell you this. The bill is the typical sort of bill you would find when a country is moving out of the Privy Council into the CCJ appellate jurisdiction.
Right.
Like what you had in Barbados, Belize, Dominica. Ours is no different. For example, you may hear some opponents saying, we have set a threshold of $1,500 to have a right to appeal to the CCJ.
Okay.
And they go to a part, Article 25 in the bill, in the CCJ agreement, appellate jurisdiction of the court. And that clause, Article 25, paragraph 2, sets what is called a threshold requirement of $25,000. But, and this is the point, that same Article 25 makes it very clear that in the exercise of its appellate jurisdiction, and I'm reading for you word for word, the court is a superior court of record with such jurisdiction and powers as are conferred on it by this agreement or by the Constitution or any other law of a contracting party. What does that mean? Simply that each country can have its own threshold requirement.
Right.
That is why, for example, if you look at what I call the CCJ Acts in the 4 countries which are now part of the CCJ appellate jurisdiction, you will see that they all have their own different threshold requirements. Here they are. If the value of the claim is worth in Guyana, 1 million Guyanese dollars,
right,
you're in. In Belize, 18,250 Belize dollars. Barbados, 18,250 Barbadian dollars. Dominica, $25,200. And furthermore, the very past president of the Caribbean Court of Justice himself, Sir Dennis Byron, speaking at St. George's University here in Grenada about 2 weeks ago or so, told the audience that each country is entitled to set its own threshold requirement. Now, where does Grenada get its $1,500 from? That is the present value for an appeal to the Privy Council as of right in civil matters.
Okay.
So all we are doing is we are retaining the existing value for appeals as of right to the Privy Council,
right,
and we are applying it to the CCJ.
So there is no change in matter in the sense that the money value has increased?
No. You know, that is what is upsetting them, because they wanted to see a high money value.
Right.
To enable them to say, we are shutting out poor people. I was on a radio program about a week ago or so, and I said the money value is $1,500. Somebody called in and said, well, poor people can't afford that. So could you imagine if the money value was $25,000? They would lynch us in the marketplace.
Yeah, it's a different story. It's a different outcry.
Oh, yes.
It would have been
so that is what is upsetting them. Now,
but
let me tell you this. Let me say this to you. You may ask, why are we not finding disadvantages for going to the CCJ?
I was about to ask that question.
Why are we not coming up with disadvantages? The answer is simple. The Privy Council has time and again over the years, and I'll give you some cases you could look at, made it very clear that, one, the Privy Council is remote from the Caribbean, and two, the Privy Council judges are not, and I'm quoting here now, not personally familiar with Caribbean conditions, end of quote, and therefore the lordships of the Privy Council explain. The Privy Council hardly reverses Caribbean judges. I can give you some references. There's Baker and the Queen,
right,
23 West India Report 463, up to 2017 in a case from Trinidad and Tobago. Surat, S-U-R-A-T-T, and the Attorney General. You could find it on the UK Privy Council website, 71 West India Report 391, paragraph 28. Again, they are making that point.
Okay.
So that it is the Privy Council itself which from time to time is saying to Caribbean people, look, we in the Privy Council are far away from you. We are not familiar with your conditions in the Caribbean.
Right.
So we're not going to be interfering with Caribbean judges. Caribbean judges know much better than we can ever hope to do in the Privy Council what is right for the law in the Caribbean.
Right.
Add to that the question of costs. It costs you, on average, some 140,000 EC dollars to appeal from Grenada to the Privy Council. If you add together lawyers' costs in London, air transportation, ground transportation in London, accommodation, other costs for traveling. You may have to walk with your Grenadian lawyer.
Right.
So that last September, on the 9th of September, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Keith Rowley, made the point, and these are his words. He said that 99% of Trinidadians cannot set foot in the Privy Council, and therefore he will be introducing into Parliament shortly a motion to move Trinidad and Tobago out of the Privy Council into the CCJ in 2019. This is oil-rich Trinidad and Tobago talking.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, 99% of them cannot afford appeals to the Privy Council.
Okay.
Let alone Grenada.
Now, in the matter of, let's say, filing for matters in towards the CCJ, like you want to take a case to the CCJ, and there's a stipulation of the cost, that minimum cost of $1,500. Isn't there? And I know I heard it before, but I'm going to ask a question because someone just asked it. Isn't there stipulations for people who are not able to make that requirement, financial requirement, if they take place?
Yes, the Caribbean Court of Justice rules have what they call a means test.
Right.
And if they put you to that test and you turn out to be what is called a poor person, you don't even have to pay filing fees or any of the court fees. You just may be exempted altogether. And they have been doing that. Moreover, you can stay in your home country, Grenada, for example, and file your appeal at the Caribbean Court of Justice electronically. You can stay in your office, in your home in Grenada, and argue your case before the CCJ, given the advanced video conferencing facilities they have.
Right.
They made rules in 2017. I have before me a case. Let me read from you a case coming from Guyana. The case is Blairmont Rice Investment Incorporated and Cayman Sanka. Judgment delivered on the 7th of December 2017. And you could find it in 2017 CCJ 19, paragraph 2. The court is making the observation that this lawyer from Guyana,
right,
and I'm quoting now, had the distinction of being the first counsel to appear from his Guyanese home via this court's advanced video conferencing facilities, end of quote.
Okay.
So he stayed at his home in Guyana, and he argued his case.
Right.
When the elections were coming up in Barbados a few months ago, you may recall.
Oh, yes.
On Friday afternoon, a person wanted to appeal against the decision of the Court of Appeal of Barbados. After work on a Friday afternoon, he filed his appeal electronically. The papers were processed. The case was argued that same Sunday of following that same Friday, around midday. And a decision was given that same Sunday to enable the person who was claiming he had a right to vote, to enable him to exercise his right to vote. All because you can file your appeal electronically. And you can argue your case over the court's advanced video conferencing facilities.
Yes.
Now the Privy Council has been in Grenada since the British set foot here in 1763.
Right.
They have never introduced any such facility.
No.
It is only when the CCJ came on board and started to implement these services that the Privy Council started scratching around. And up to now, they can't offer that facilities for Grenada.
Wow. But
the CCJ is not only a court for Grenada. It goes and it helps get development facilities, like electronic facilities, training judges, training court staff, helping lawyers to continue in their education, their training. Privy Council has never ever bothered with that sort of thing.
No.
They concentrate exclusively on hearing cases and decided cases. They are not a developmental institution.
So there we have it. When you have all these advantages and the disadvantages laid in front of you, it is hard for me to fathom that why it is that some people are still struggling with a decision, okay? Because I would say because they're listening to the noise, Some folks I don't know. I don't know if it's human nature, because we see it right here in the U.S. right now. Because remember, on Tuesday also there is a midterm election taking place on Tuesday, November 6th also.
Yeah.
And there are people who you see what is happening right now is affecting them tremendously. They could tell you, okay, well, there was a tax cut and there was all of this, but I don't see the benefit of it. I'm still losing money. I'm struggling even harder. But then they will still tell you, if you ask them, so where do you see yourself casting your vote on Tuesday? Well, and they started going to that long, undecisive comment, because they know what is best for them. But because we like to listen to noise and we like the narrative, the negative, a lot of times we get lost in the white noise. If I may say so.
It's a number of factors at work here. A number of factors at work. Now, Marcus Garvey came to Grenada, I think it was about 1937 or so, and he was speaking to the people at Queen's Park. Mm-hmm. And he repeated a theme he had been talking about in North America, namely, setting yourself free mentally and psychologically is far more difficult than being set free from chains, physical chains.
Yeah.
Because setting yourself free mentally requires a leap of faith and confidence in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody else is setting you free physically, you don't have anything to do really. Right. You just have to walk out of the chain.
Yeah.
But when you have to walk out of the mental chain, you alone can do that. Now, you may recall when the children of Israel were leaving slavery in Egypt,
mm-hmm.
they began their journeys. As soon as they got hungry or thirsty, they would call upon Moses, take them back to Egypt. At least they would have fresh spots there. And they get drinks in Egypt.
Right.
Almost forgetting slavery just entered. Human beings, when they are in a comfort zone, even if it is in slavery or negative, some of them adjust themselves to it.
Right.
Don't want to make that leap of faith. Now, some of them want to deny it has anything to do with sociology or psychology, but it has a lot to do with it. The only consolation I can find really is that when Canada was moving out of the Privy Council, they had that same debate going on there. Okay. And it took good intellectuals who could see beyond the corner to say to their fellow Canadians that people like Bora Laskin, who went on to become Chief Justice of Canada, he wrote an article, I think in 1949, Canadian Bar Review, in effect saying to Canadians, have confidence in yourselves. Mm-hmm. Respect yourselves. We can get out of the Privy Council and we will not end up eating one another. We will survive.
Yeah.
We have what it takes to do it. And of course, the rest is history.
It's history, yeah.
Some like to deny that those are issues, but those are very much issues. I bet you, if tomorrow the United Kingdom were to say that they can no longer sustain the Privy Council, all this debate going on would be at an end.
Yeah.
There's one other thing. You may remember when Grenada was becoming independent in 1974. Grenada was the first Eastern Caribbean country to become independent.
Right.
And even some self-respecting intellectuals and professionals were saying, I remember at the conference in London, the records are there. They can't be rewritten.
Right.
Howard Blaze was telling the conference in London, Grenada is too small and too poor to sustain independence.
Right.
So you have that self-doubt, and it was complicated by the factor that some people hated Erigeri so much that what they really meant was that Independence, yes, but not under Erigeri. Now, the social stratification in Grenada has not changed much since then. If Keith Mitchell were a brown-skinned boy, say like Morris Bishop, a lot of the talk you're hearing, you wouldn't, and I have said so publicly time and again, you wouldn't hear it.
Yep.
Because they don't want a little black-skinned boy leading the country into the CCJ. They're coming up with all kind of specious arguments.
Yeah.
But at bottom is this simple jealousy and envy, which will take us nowhere.
Right. And I always tell folks, right, I did not realize the level of prejudice that I experienced when I was growing up. We experienced it home. To me, it only came to light when I left because you didn't know what it was, right? You just go along with it because you think that's just the way things were. But then when I traveled outside of Grenada into Canada and to North America, and then you start seeing prejudice and racism in the light, then you also realize, man, I lived that life. I experienced it. Okay? And it's the same thing that the point you're making. It's something about us as a people. We take that skin color factor, we look at it totally different, right? We look at, as I keep saying, we look at the white as right and the dark as bad. We still have that encave, locked up mentality. And it's not
a life worth fighting against.
Always.
And we start to dedicate our whole life to fighting against that. It is even worse because some people try to deny it. They're in denial.
Yes.
But we know the truth. Look at what the Privy Council has been saying about the Caribbean Court of Justice. I'm reading from a Jamaican case, Jamaica Council of Human Rights and Marshall Burnett, 2005. And the Privy Council is looking at provisions for appointing CCJ judges. There is an independent commission for appointing judges. No politician, no government puts any person on that commission. Members of that commission are chosen by various regional organizations,
right?
Lawyers, for example, universities, for example. No government can remove a judge from the CCJ.
Right.
There has to be a complaint about inability or misbehavior. That complaint has to go before a judicially qualified tribunal internationally. There has to be hearings. The judge will have a chance to defend himself. People will have opportunities to come and see what they have to say. The court is funded by an independent trust fund, which started off with $100 million US, raised by the Caribbean Development Bank, repaid by participating states on their assessed contributions. Every country has now repaid its quota. And that fund is managed by an independent board of trustees, regional. Again, no politician puts anybody onto that board.
Right.
That board manages this fund and invests the money in the fund and uses profits from the fund, dividends, to finance the court from day to day, so that the court does not go to any minister of finance every year, cap in hand, begging for the pipe to pay the tune, kind of thing.
Right.
No. The Privy Council looked at all of that, and this is what the Privy Council said, referring to themselves as a board, and I'm reading. The board has no difficulty in accepting and does not doubt that the CCJ agreement represents a serious and conscientious endeavor to create a new regional court of high quality and complete independence, enjoying all the advantages which a regional court could hope to enjoy. End of quote.
End of quote.
This is a testimony of the Privy Council saying that the CCJ is a court of complete independence. Yet for all, you will hear one or two individuals walking about and saying they're afraid. They're afraid that politicians will interfere with the court.
Yes.
But here is the Privy Council telling you that cannot
happen. Yeah.
Not the way the court is structured. I heard the Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Court, Dame Janice Pereira, last September when she was addressing the opening of the law year and saying loud and clear that the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court does not have a trust fund. What do you think? What do you think Her Ladyship was referring to? Her Ladyship is making the point that, so to speak, the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court wishes it had the trust fund which the CCJ has.
Yeah.
In other words, telling the world this trust fund idea is an excellent idea.
Yeah. I want to read something here where I find by the Law Aspect Forum. It went on to also say, and this is a clear quote from His Lordship Griffin, Lord Griffin, all right? And he was quoted to say, the objective of the CCJ is to provide the Caribbean community an accessible, fair, efficient, innovative, and impartial justice system built on jurisdictions reflective of our history, values, and tradition, while maintaining an inspirational, independent institution worthy of emotional by courts of the region and the trust and confidence of its people. He went on further to say, however, like any other objective, there are both advantages and disadvantages that accompanies it. After carefully analyzing on this matter, there are numbers of advantages that can be explored. There are very minute disadvantages. These include the legal and social landscape of the Caribbean, our independence, the comparative cheaper expense, right? In comparison, the cheaper expense of the CCJ as opposed to the Privy Council, and leaving a legacy for our future generation. Having an established CCJ is even seen as far better alternative to the Privy Council, because the judicial personnel of the CCJ would be more aware of the legal and social landscape of the Caribbean and will be in a better position to rule more effectively on legal matters. He went on to say it is believed that the judges who are present in the final course that play a role in the decision of making of the cases should be knowledgeable of the country's rules and regulation, and should also be knowledgeable of what is happening in the country and the rule with such things in mind. Do you think the lords of the Privy Council would actually know the present situation of your country better? No. They would not. They would just base the decision excluding the constitution percepts of the nation in question. That was a quote by Lord Griffin of the legal courts in London. All right? So, as you're saying, these people who are sitting in that seat on the Privy Council or have dealings with the Privy Council are letting us know right off the bat, with nothing up their sleeves, that it is better for us as a region to have our own code of peace. And it don't take somebody up there to tell me that. It didn't take someone for me to read that, for me to understand it. But then once again, we know that there are some folks, you know, you have, there is a fact, the whole thing about change. It is not the fact that they don't understand, they just don't like change. It doesn't matter how you lay it for them, the change is what is bothering them. Right?
Well, I read for you what the Privy Council says time and again, that their lordships are not personally familiar with Caribbean conditions. That's the same. That's the essence of what you have just read there for me.
Right.
If you look at the CCJ agreement in the preamble, you'd see it says that the contracting parties are convinced that the CCJ will have a determinative role in the future further development of Caribbean jurisprudence through the judicial process.
Right.
And that quote you read from, again, is tying in with this vision that if you have your own final appellate court, you will better develop your regional Caribbean jurisprudence.
Yes.
Now, I have to confess that I am not a recent convert to stop sending appeals to the Privy Council. In 1975, I wrote an article. I had just begun teaching law at the university in Barbados. And the first article I wrote was that Caribbean countries should stop sending appeals to the Privy Council because the Privy Council does not have time to address the serious issues of Caribbean development, especially in constitutional law. For example, in a case in 1969 from Jamaica, the Court of Appeal of Jamaica is interpreting a provision in the Constitution which says materially, if a person can show he has been tried for a criminal offense,
right,
and convicted or acquitted, he shall not again be tried of that offense or of any other offense of which he could have been convicted at a trial.
Right.
The Court of Appeal of Jamaica interpreted that provision to mean, in context, if you tried a man for murder, he could have been convicted of manslaughter.
Right.
He was not convicted of murder or of manslaughter. You can't come now and try him again for manslaughter on the same
attempted murder on the same issue, yeah.
When it went to the Privy Council, you know what the Privy Council said? The Privy Council said that that provision in the Constitution is just the same as the common law principle of what is called outre for acquit and outre for convict. So this means, on that interpretation, our entire Constitution, especially in the Bill of Rights, cannot develop on its own apart from principles handed down to us by the British in the common law. So that our Bill of Rights would be forever tied to all concepts of the common law. And I said, no, well, that can't be right.
No.
We must have the right in the Caribbean to develop our bills of rights after our own image and likeness. And you can't have the Privy Council sitting there and telling us you can't do that.
Yeah.
Look at a case in Barbados this year. They passed an act there saying materially, a man and a woman living together as if they were man and wife. If one dies without making a will, the other would inherit it.
Right.
The question was, if a man left his wife and was living with this woman there donkey years, and he now dies, leaving property without a will, to whom does that property go? The wife from whom he has physically been separated for decades?
Right.
Or the never bothered him? Or the woman he's been living with there for years, loving her, looking after her, and she loving him and looking after him? Now, look at how the Caribbean Court of Justice was able to come up with a conclusion which does justice to everybody, having regard to Caribbean cultures, Caribbean mores, Caribbean norms. You think the Privy Council was going to sit down and bother their head about that?
Nope.
As a matter of fact, I've heard one of the ringleaders here against going into CCJ admitting the other day saying that the Privy Council has as much as made it known to us in the Caribbean, don't bother bring these family problems to them. They're not interested. They don't have time.
Yeah.
Well, the CCJ is more than interested and has time. This is a quote of the Caribbean.
Yes.
For the Caribbean, by the Caribbean. It has time for us.
Yes.
So whether you're looking at accessibility in terms of cost, whether you're looking at the attitude of the Privy Council to us, I remember in 2009, the then head of the Privy Council, Lord Phillips, came right out publicly and said, time for Caribbean countries to have their own final appellate court.
Yeah.
The Privy Council is tired with us and our murders, our rapes, our family breakdown, our land disputes. Why should they bother with us? They have their own issues to deal with in the UK.
Yeah,
we have to find our own problems here.
Yeah, we got to fight our own battles. Yeah, we got to fight our own battles.
When you look at the CCJ agreement, I am yet to hear any one of them come forward and say that this provision in this CCJ agreement is not good. And even if it were not good, that wouldn't be a reason for scrapping the CCJ. All it would require is fixing it. Law is never perfect anywhere in the world.
Nope.
Law is always developing.
But, you know, Dr. Alexis, I've heard some arguments where they're talking about the judicial system in Grenada needs fixing and the courts, and it is something that happens right here in the U.S. Okay? As I said earlier on when I started this segment, you would not understand as a regional people, as Caribbean people, we may not understand the importance of accessibility to justice until for some of us when we travel outside our region. All right?
Yes.
That means now that we reside in, many of us that reside in Canada and in the US and in Europe, we having a different understanding what it means when it is said that as a people we need to have accessibility to justice. There are many hundreds and hundreds of Caribbean people sitting in the justice system here in the United States, right here in Brooklyn, that doesn't have access to justice because they don't have the money.
Yes.
Is the main cause. Okay? And the fact that they don't have the money, they're sitting in jail. Right?
Yes.
They don't have it for bond or bail, so they will sit in jail, and then sometimes they sit in jail for years. There was a young man who hanged himself in prison, young Caribbean brother, hanged himself in prison for a crime. He was sitting in jail for over 4 years because his mother didn't have the money to bail him. He eventually hanged himself, and when just about the time he hanged himself, they found out he was innocent young man. And he was saying from day one he did not do this crime. Well, we know that is everyday say. Every criminal say or every prisoner say they're innocent.
Yes.
Right? But that is the sadness about the justice system, not only in Grenada, but throughout the world. And they would think...
Let's stay with that point a little.
Right.
Fix the local codes first. Let's stay with that point. First of all, if you are going to complain about the local court system being as it is, surely the most senior court in the system must take some blame.
You're right.
Because the highest court in the system should be concerning itself with the state of the courts below it.
Right.
So which has been the highest court in the system all these centuries? Not the CCJ.
Is the Privy Council.
It is the Privy Council.
Yes.
Which has been the highest court in the system.
Right.
Has it not been concerning itself with what is going on? So how can you turn around now and use the condition of the local courts as an argument for going into the CCJ. If anything, that's an argument for getting out of the Privy Council.
Yep, that's an argument to leave.
Nobody is saying that attention should not be paid to the local court system. We certainly say that attention must be paid to the local court system. However, it is not a matter of one or the other. Both have to be attended to. And most importantly, and this is a point I want to emphasize, going into the CCJ appellate jurisdiction is not going to take 1 single cent out of the treasury of Grenada. I want to repeat that.
It's important.
I want to emphasize that point. Namely, going into the CCJ appellate jurisdiction is not going to take not 1 single cent out of the treasury of Grenada. Why is that so? That is so because when the CCJ was established and started functioning in 2005, the Caribbean Development Bank floated a loan of $100 million to finance the court. And every participating country has had to pay back its assessed contribution. Grenada's assessed contribution is essentially $1 million. And all the countries have paid that back. Therefore, Grenada has already paid to the court, like all the other Caribbean countries participating in the all Caribbean countries have already paid to the CCJ all the money that they can be called upon today to pay. They paid it since in 2005. So we are paid for the court, but we are not using its facility.
Yeah.
And every person who comes to Grenada visiting makes that point to the people of Grenada. You have already paid for the court.
Yeah.
Every single cent. So your coming in now is not going to cost you anything more. No, of course, I am not for a moment suggesting that $100 million fund might not need topping up one of these days. When we had the financial collapse in the Caribbean in 2008, some of the investments of the court took a hit.
Right.
And the capital fund went down from $100 million to as low as $87 million.
Okay.
Thank God it is back up now. At the end of financial year 2017, it reached back up to $90 million.
Right.
And even if it had remained at $100 million, quite evidently, one of these days, it might require topping up.
Right.
But the point is that as things stand now, going into the appellate jurisdiction of the court is not going to entail Grenada spending on the CCJ money it could have spent on fixing the magistrates' court in Sauterres, or in Guave, or Grenville, or St. George's. And that is a point which must be emphasized. We paid it all up front already.
So the argument that it's going to cost Grenadians, taxpayers, much more money, they're going to raise taxes, and they're going to do all these things, once again, is just white noise.
No, that is absolute rubbish. Nonsense.
But, it is sad, though. I mean, as we say, the road to success and the road to betterment is a long-traveled road. It's a rocky road.
And this is not what I'm not just telling you. So I put out a Q&A on the, we have the date here, it's about 2 weeks now I put out this Q&A. And one of the questions was, can governments starve or punish CCJ by not paying contributions to CCJ on time? Answer, no. Country CCJ contributions were paid fully in 2005 into a US $100 million CCJ trust fund, managed and invested by an independent board of trustees, Profits Finance CCJ. I have a next question, question 10. Should not local courts in Grenada be fixed before Grenada have the CCJ appeal court? Answer, no. It is not one or the other. No money would be channeled away from the local courts and allocated to the CCJ. The total Grenada contribution to CCJ was paid back in 2005. I have another question here, question 8. Would Grenada spend on CCJ every year money it could spend on Grenada courts? Answer, no. Grenada would not spend on CCJ money it could be spending on the local courts in Grenada. Grenada paid CCJ in full to start CCJ in 2005. So I'm not just telling you, I put these things in writing, and no one has dared to challenge these questions and answers.
Okay. There is also a matter where Francis Jacobs, Privy Councillor and former Advocate General of the European Court of Justice, had this to say, and he had it to say in reference to deal with you, Dr. Francis Alexis. He said that a Supreme Court is a high caliber that has been established in the Caribbean, which would be able to develop a modern Caribbean jurisprudence in an international context. All possible steps should be taken to encourage the Caribbean to accept the jurisdiction of their own Supreme Court. Independence, as quoted from the Webster Encyclopedia, English Dictionary, is defined as the state or quality of being free from influence, control, or determination of one or others, of another or others. All right? And that is a point.
Yes, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, that is the same point that we hear over and over. It's an independent body. It does not fall under influence of any government body or any minister or any influence or anybody with money. You know, as some people are making it seems. All right. It is. So my thing with is why. We have technology at our fingertips today, all right?
Yes.
More than any other generation in the past. When I was growing up, this thing of a cell phone in the palm of my hand, we had an instant. I could get information on anything that I'm looking for positively. Why it is that we could use it for Facebook, for Twitter, for Instagram, to put up and post all sort of nonsense, but we cannot as a people. And a lot of times, as educated people, utilize it in the manner which will benefit us more positively.
One of the sad things about developing countries, whether in the Caribbean or Asia, Africa, is that so often different political parties fail to elevate the national interests on paramount policies over narrow partisan small-mindedness. Now, I look at the way Barbados, especially, entered the Caribbean Court of Justice appellate jurisdiction. Both government and opposition made the point that getting into the CCJ, affording final appellate justice to the people of Barbados was too important for political parties to try to make a narrow partisan issue out of it. And therefore, both parties signed on the dotted line in the national interest to allow the people to enjoy final appellate justice. But what are you seeing in Grenada? Like I said earlier on, talks were going on between the NDC and the Attorney General.
Right.
All that while, you were not hearing any complaint about any flaw in the bill.
The CCJ, right.
And I pointed it out to them several times, and their answer to me is, well, because talks were going on, we didn't want to prejudice the talks. Rubbish. They were not talking about flaws because there are no flaws in the bill. That's my answer.
Right.
But the minute the talks broke down, you're hearing flaw this and flaw that and flaw the other. But I guarantee you that if those talks had succeeded, meaning if the NDC had gotten out of the talks what they wanted.
Well, yeah.
Now, I am not here to tell NDC what to ask for. A party asks for what it wants.
Right.
My complaint is that your talks break down. Don't come now and try to throw
a bunker wrench
milk on the bill.
Yeah.
Don't do that. If you want to quarrel. But after all this time, you had no complaint to the bill. You can't come now because you have a quarrel with the government and say there are flaws in the bill. Of course,
at the last hour.
No, that's not right. That's not fair. And that's where I join issue with them.
Well, Dr. Alexis, let's trust that our citizens of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique can see beyond those smoke screens and go on out on Tuesday and do what it is the best for the country and the best for themselves.
We do pray indeed. We do pray that God will give us wisdom to see what is right, courage to do what is right, and strength to stand up against what is being said, what is plainly wrong, because we are not voting on Tuesday in any simple way.
Mm-hmm.
This is a date with history. Our forefathers fought so they could be liberated from the different restraints, whether it was slavery, colonialism, lack of equality of the vote. My generation has a responsibility, having inherited these benefits from the past. We now have the not only responsibility, but the opportunity to hand down to those coming after us, posterity.
Yes.
An arrangement whereby they can look themselves in the face with confidence, with assurance, and step forward into the world with dignity. And I pray that God will help us to do just that. Thank you very much for having us on your program today.
You guys
all
are
the
most
best
welcome.
to you.
All the best to you. And Dr. Alexis, I like to say, I take my hat off to you. The consistency in the fight, because you were fighting die hard the first time around. And you know, with some people they say, well, I tried my best. I put my best foot forward the first time. You know, I do not have the energy to put into it the second time around. But here we are, a second time around, and you're there vigilantly with the energy, the effort, and with all honesty. I applaud you, and once again to you and the family, may God continue to bless you, and thank you ever so much on behalf of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you very much indeed. All the best to you again.
All right, sir. Thank you. Have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right,
bye.
Thanks. Okay, bye-bye. Yes, folks, that was Dr. Francis Alexis. When I say this man was fighting effortlessly, you know, just fighting to just let our folks in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique understand the importance of the CCJ for us as a people. My thing to us as a people, we can use our smartphone for all kind of mischievous things. We can send all kind of videos inappropriately or appropriately. We can put up all kind of endless postings. Just take a minute. Just take a minute and ask this one in research server. Just Google it. Google the importance of the CCJ in the region of the Caribbean. Just Google it, man. Come on. We not a dunce people. And for those, some of us who just not too savvy with the technology, you got children who utilize technology. Sit with them. Ask them to do some research for you. Ask them to read. You know, you may not be able to read and understand, but ask for guidance along with the young people that sits next to you, that you're raising, that you sacrificing every day to go out, to cast a net as a fisherman, to sell in the market as a vendor, to work the land, till the soil as a farmer, to be a bus driver, all because you want to educate your children for a betterment, for them to have a better chance in life than you didn't have. Trust them to sit with you and help you understand this whole scope of what it means for us as a people. All right? It is not hidden. If you read up on the Privy Council, there are issues and there are matters and they are posting where they keep saying it's just a matter of time, folks. It's just a matter of time when they will not be available to us any longer. Then what you gonna do? You be up with your ass in the air in the rain? Eh? That's what will happen. You're gonna get kicked out, and then you have no other option but to go to the same thing that we've been rejecting time and time again. All because we don't want to independently think as a people. Can't let people start making decisions for you. You got to start standing up and make your own decisions for yourself. So that being said, once again, I'd like to say thanks to Dr. Francis Alexis for taking the time to explain once again the importance and shining a light on the naysayers and the misleading things that some people are pointing our citizens in the direction that they're pointing them. Partisan politics plays no part in something like that. We're gonna go to some music once again, and this is the band Sugar Aloes out of TNT. It's Sunday Jamboree. Miss Bola, good afternoon to you and the family. Lord of mercy. La, 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 la.
Study the whole universe. How come this world gets so corrupt and cursed? Things are stranger, cause it's not like before. Man's life in turmoil, with disaster and war, for sure. With the nuclear this and the nuclear that, they intend to smash down the world flat. And they don't care about the master's plan, cause every day man seeking to destroy man. Put a hand, cause this was never meant to be. Man's supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man creates things to shorten his days. Cause in discomfort and strife, what a life, cause in discomfort and strife, what a life in these times, but these are the signs of the end of
time. Blessed afternoon, baby Lou boy.
mankind had behold the first sunrise. This world to him was like a paradise. But up to now, to his ways he never take heed. Now he's at war with himself because of his greed. I read, when they dropped the bomb in Hiroshima, in history it is the world's disaster. It's in record how millions of people dead. Yet every day man improving a new warhead. They dread, cause this was never meant to be. Man supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days. Cause in this comfort and strife, what a life, what a life. Cause in this comfort and strife, what a life. In these times, but these are the signs of the end of time. Of himself create dread disease.
Mad.
Talking about gonorrhea, AIDS and herpes. Now he's searching desperately to find the cure. And up to now, man still hasn't passed first floor. Well, what more? The Bible said that when God made woman, he specified she was man's companion. Some men turn away from her beauty and perfection, showing us plain that they prefer live with a man in this land. But this was never meant to be. Man supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days. Cause in this comfort and strife, what a life, what a life.
Yes, for we are our own destructive mechanism.
But these are the signs of the end of time.
We got to do better. And you know what's sad about it? When the people that know better is misleading others. That's really sad. And that daylight is Sunday afternoon. It's Jamboree time. Ah.
I pray that one day this nonsense will cease. Mankind must return to uttermost peace. Cause the penalty is death and destruction. Man, know thyself, stop causing more complication. Change your plan. It's time the world leaders come together. Stop trying to destroy one another. Doesn't matter if you're from England or Haiti, America, Iraq, Beijing or Germany, sign the treaty. Cause this was never meant to be. Man supposed to dwell in harmony, but because of selfish ways, man create things to shorten his days. Cause in his comfort and strife, what a life, what a life.
A message in the music.
What a life.
Oh, the voice of Sugar Hollows, sign of the end of times.
What a life.
Once again, family, it is Jamboree. I'm Spice from the Mortal One. Jaxie, I have this song for you, man. I got it lined up right here. That's the song coming up next. But before I do that, I want to let the folks of Liberty FM down there in St. Lucia remember that November 16th and 17th, 16th Street Party, Souffle Waterfront. Saturday the 17th, it's going on at the official concert is Sufi Mini Stadium, right, folks? Yes, so go on out and get your tickets while they last, all right? Burning Flames, Kuya Future Live Band. And you gotta get on there. Get your tickets, Yes. Liberty FM presents sponsorship of Flow, yes. Dreamphoria 2018. This is a song requested right here. The Mooks. I like calling people name, but this one is appropriate. This one. Because that's what we see happening in Grenada presently and other parts of the world.
It was the African who on the plantation overcame starvation and oppression. It was the African who fought the European for recognition and liberation. So for all his ancestors who died, Africans wear their robes with pride. But Ken Valley gave me a message openly to tell all them Africans I see. So I go, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Leroy Clarko, Ken Valley say here's a mook. He said them clothes you wearing, they ain't have no meaning. It making all you look so mingling. Throw them in the sewer, forget your ancestor. Your history does not matter. Capra-Cambon, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Oh, Bill Trotman, Ken Valley say here's a mook. It was the African whose communication brought civilization to Europeans. It was the African who gave us inventions like reading, writing, and computation. And they gave the world architecture, the scientist and engineer. So their dashiki stands for their contributions to the technology of humans. Sister Anju, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Anum, you too, Ken Valley say here's a mook. He said wearing dashiki and talking about slavery is just a waste of time and energy. Tell Leroy Clark to buy a nice jacket and tie and become a new world guy. Patrick Manning, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Esmond King, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Look at books. It was the African who brought us traditions like the Sukuyan Agahuman. It was the African who gave us musicians, bongo, belly, kaizu, and steel band. And history shows Africans conquered many a European lord. So we wear dashiki as a sign of victory for a race that once ruled humanity. But still, Harold MacLeod, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Peter Rebrad, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Well, boy, Ken Valley disclose that African heroes like Egyptian pharaohs didn't wear clothes. He say Africans came here without any culture. His whites gave them clothes to wear. Brother Dagger, Ken Valley say here's a mook. Mighty composer, Can Valley say is a monk? It was the African, like to sell the Haitian, who brought dignity to the black man. It was the African, like Moses the Egyptian, who showed Africa had mighty humans. Like Zulu, Shaka, Queen and Zinga and Chetwairu, King Jaja, Sundiata and Afonso. They shed blood, sweat and tears, so in memory of theirs, pride is enshrined in what the black man wears. Father B, Can Valley say is a monk? Can Anoli, Can Valley say is a monk? He say African slavery, erase from your memory. The past is the past, forget that she keep. That head wrap you wear too, and your pretty boo-boo don't reflect shackles. Sister Liseli, Can Valley say is a monk? Kwame Bolabani, Can Valley say is a monk? Oh, Mandela, Can Valley say is a monk? Brian Lara, Can Valley say is a monk? Selwyn Kojo,
Can Valley say we want to be called no mooks. We're going to do what we know we got to do. Yes, family. And I'm talking about two different elections. One in the region of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Tuesday. And right on the same date on the US. If you need a change, that's the purpose of democracy, is to change what you don't like, using the ability and the right to vote, not by the gun, not by violence, not by no other form, but the right to vote. It is your right. All right, so exercise your right. Somebody requested this one here, you know, kind of throw me off my rhyme and reason in music, but hey, as requested, that's the Baron on this one.
I love it, Sheila. Sheila wanted, Sheila. Sheila love it, Sheila. Sheila. Sheila wanted what? Sheila. Sheila wanted hard. Sheila. Sheila wanted fair. Sheila. Sheila wanted sweat. Sheila wanted, Sheila. Sheila love it, Sheila. Sheila wanted, Sheila. Sheila love it, Sheila. Sheila. Sheila want the rocket. Sheila. Come out of my pocket. Sheila. To put in a socket. Sheila. Sheila want to test it. Sheila wanted, Sheila. Sheila love it, Sheila. Sheila wanted, Sheila. Sheila love it, Sheila. Ding 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 ding. Sheila. Ding 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 ding. Sheila. Ding ding ding. Sheila. Ding 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 ding. Sheila is a woman that is always on my mind. She give me she phone number to call she anytime. She say the soca man does make she feel the wine. She giving me everything cause everything is mine. Sheila, 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 Sheila wanted, Sheila, Sheila love it, Sheila, Sheila wanted, Sheila, Sheila love it, Sheila, Sheila, Sheila want me factory, Sheila, Sheila want me taxi, Sheila, Sheila want me taxi, Sheila, inside of a maxi, Sheila wanted, Sheila, Sheila wanted, Sheila, Sheila wanted, Sheila, Sheila love it, Sheila, Sheila, ding ding ding, Sheila, ding ding
Once again, the voice of Baran, Sheila, DJ. Hey, on a Sunday. Oh my gosh. Hey, Brung, wait, when you came up with that track, man? What do you remember about that song? You told me this song, you requested this song, brother, and I was like, what the hell? I'm lost. You know, I'm searching, looking like, Baran? Really? Until I found it. So I hope you enjoyed it, you and the family. And before I go any further, I'd like to leave you guys with a bit of information, and we're going to play the information in the format of this right here. And we're going to do it like this.
Our Grenadian people are proudly Caribbean, and we continually strengthen the bonds of the people of the region as together we embrace our collective destiny. We are the children of Marcus Garvey and Bob Marley, of Vivian Richards and David Rudder, as Caribbean as West Indies cricket, and as Caribbean as the University of the West Indies. We are reggae, we are soca, we are one vibration. Break the chains of colonialism for one united Caribbean. The Caribbean Court of Justice, proudly ours.
Rising out of the ghetto, third world stagnation, reaching out for tomorrow with a world vibration.
B&N Business Service Inc. with Grenada's very own Dr. Natasha Bola, paralegal and notary public. Visit her today at 1705 Church Avenue, Brooklyn, Suite 203, or call to make an appointment 347-435-0202 for all types of services: immigration, consulting, taxes, business plans, resumes, wills, and a whole lot more. Don't spend time and resources on what could be easily avoided. Get the professional advice you need today. Call 347-435-0202. Get the
Liberty FM presents Dream Foria on November 16th and 17th. On Friday, November 16th, it's the Grand Street Party at Soufriere Waterfront. And on Saturday, 17th, it's the Dream Foria official concert at the Soufriere Mini Stadium with the Caribbean's hottest band, the Burning Flames. The Burning Flames Band. Burning Flames Band, live from Antigua, with other performances by the Future Lights Band and Kuya, with your DJ Selector Ashton and Starboy Terry, Forum and Smokey, Twins of Twins, and DJ Exclusive. Early bird tickets for $50, 75 regular. More at the gate. Get your tickets at Liberty FM in Soufriere, Cool Joint Disco in Victoria, Chazelle, Steve's Barber Shop in Castries, Discipline Bar in Canaries, and Shornell's Pizza in Viewport. Yes, it's Liberty FM Dream Foria weekend, November 16th and 17th. St. Lucia, get ready. Sponsored by Blue Waters, Road Boy Drinks, Choice TV, Winners TV, NBC Real FM, Ibas Radio, Export Signs and Graphics, St. Lucia Taxi and Tours, and our gold sponsors, Flow.
Yes, once again, it is Sunday afternoon. It's Jamboree. I'm kind of lost in some information right here, family. The whole matter of the CCJ that is pending in front of us in the region of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and is it Antigua? Yeah, it just makes you. I don't know about you, but it makes me. At every chance I get, sit down and just read and educate oneself about the whole concept of the CCJ. And from the first initial of me hearing it, that's what I started doing. Right? So I'm not saying, I am not putting down and coming down on anyone. Okay? There are some folks, and we know that like information, they have questions. And it's good to have questions. Questions make people have a better understanding, because they tell you it's good to ask questions. So you ask a question, you clear up any doubts, you have a better understanding, you can make better judgment. But there are some people who will ask the very same question over and over, they get the same answer over and over, and then that is not the fact that they're not misunderstanding, they're not understanding what is there. They have a different agenda. They're doing that to corrupt and to confuse people. All right? That is just, from my perspective, what it is about. To touch on something here, and it's a lot of information out there about the CCJ. A lot. you know, endless places you can go. As I said, just Google it, click on a link, and just read. All right. Something here that I'm going to share with you, the listeners, this afternoon. Not wanting to make this a political agenda because I do not do politics. I don't touch politics. I'm an independent individual. I think independently. I vote independently. And I trust that other people utilize and think independently and make their own decisions. Okay? But it's just some things I like to share. All right? Because when us as broadcasters, as radio personalities, or whatever, we sit behind a microphone, it is our duty to shine the light on positive things for our listeners, point our listeners in the right direction. I think that should be the sole purpose of someone sitting behind a microphone or sitting in front of a camera doing television broadcasts or whatever way, shape, or form, or podcast. Okay, some people have a different agenda for that, but for me, it means a lot more for me, all right, than to just sit there to get likes and this and you know, some people do it because they're looking for attention seekers, so they, you know, I mean, there's a lot I could say about it, and I don't want to go into all of that right now. So the main purpose of the CCJ in the Caribbean is for us as a Caribbean people. As Caribbean people, to have our own code, so we cannot be dependent on others. We talk about being independent. How can you be independent if you have to depend on someone else to supply you with justice? It doesn't make sense. How can you be independent if you're willing to wait for someone to hand you down something? It don't make sense. I sat back yesterday, and I remember from 1979 to 1983, Grenadians was an independent people, a vigilant people. We were a productive people. We didn't wait on the government to clean our yard and clean the drain in front of our house. We used to get up and do those things. We used to get out and go, and we will ask for the hot mix, and the trucks will drop it within the different communities. And we will get up on a Saturday and Sunday, and we will fill the potholes ourselves. I used to be a part of that. I remember the days when we used to go. I used to go to places in Grenville, in St. Andrews, in St. David's, all right, with my tools, with the different CYO groups, and assist the elderly people in fixing their step, in putting up doors, windows, their roof. We were doing these things. We wasn't sitting back and waiting on the government to do it for us. When did we become that people? When? Where it is that every morning I listen to Shaggy, somebody calling Shaggy program, or Shaggy the government, and Shaggy, I do not understand when we became that group of people. Social, just so dependent on government to do everything. We are the government. We the people are the government. We have to take the matters in our hands a lot of times to do what we need to get done. Yes, the government could provide means to get it done, but we have to take initiative a lot of times. We got to get up off your butt and be vigilant within your communities. When you partake in such activities, you do not depend on people, and you do not depend on someone to come and tell you how to vote or what is good and not good for you. We used to go out to all the community meetings and sit down and listen and debate it among ourselves without hating each other and without having a discourse of not talking to my neighbor because we have a difference in opinion. When did we lose those abilities, those good qualities? When? Many Caribbean islands are no longer British colonies. We have to understand that. It is time that you understand that. You are a British colony. Why? For what reason? How does it being under the British colony or being proclaimed as a British colony, how does it benefit us? You can't get up from Grenada today, jump on a plane tomorrow, go in London, touch down in London and get a job. You cannot get health care. You cannot get assistance. You cannot get housing. So what is the benefit of it? Just to say that you're a colony? What? Because of a name? Is the same reason we wear certain clothes? Because of the name of the clothes? Why? When? But it is strange that they still feel comfortable being dependent on an institution from the same colony from which they became independent. We became independent from that colony. So why are we still dependent on them to give us justice? To administrate final steps of justice? That is a slap in the face to our independence. No, this is coming from Douglas Mendez. You cannot call yourself independent if you go to a foreign court as your final court of appeal. Started the CCJ, which would promote our sense. Now, this is a quote from Dr. Francis Alexis, and these are people from the British Privy Council quoting our own legal minds on matters pertaining to do with CCJ and our justice system. The CCJ would promote our sense of self-confidence and would be a complement to the political independence for which we have fought and many have died. Think about that for a moment. On that note, we're going to some music. Oh yeah! Sugar Aloes once again. I'm feeling for a roti right now, yes? Hey! A dal Korean roti. Somebody! Hey, BB! Out there in Brampton.
Don't know how you feel.
Hey!
My love for you is real. For you I want to marry, to give you plenty glory. I want to be a doula, where we let aside bala. All these things I do for true, honey, just to marry you. So come on now, do say you love me too. So how now, baby? How now, Betty? Tell the locally I want roti with alkali. 'Cause I love curry. Roti I say, roti Monday. I want alu and chana, mango and barata, but I live in Kuchela. Oh gosh, go and tell her. Tell me, look at me. I want pocket and curry. Look down with Kucheli. Oh Lord, I'm not Betty. I'll be devoted to you, and I'll stay faithfully true. Look me by and me diddy, they all want you for boundary. They go call you Dula hen when we fix up the wedding. They go dance some and be cool, then I will give you Sindu, and Annie will be happy if you only marry me. So how now, Betty? How now, Betty? Tell the locally I want roti with alkali, 'cause I love curry. Go tell she I say roti mange. I want alu and chana, mango and barata, but I live in Kuchela. Oh gosh, go and tell her.
A little bit later, we're gonna go into some parang. Yeah, we setting up for the season. Yeah, man. As a Caribbean people, once again, Sunday afternoon is Jamboree time. We're not operating in the same time zone right now. I'm an hour behind you in the Caribbean. But say what? Just mean I gotta be up earlier to get to you.
I love you the way I should. I do for you all I could. I go chunke the takari, go te down where the gotani. I go take the ashes pan, help my jelly baratan. Honey, try and understand. Let me fix the marriage plan. So how now, baby?
Voice of Sugar Hollows, Roti and Talcari on a Sunday. Boy, I could do with some of that right now. I could even do with some Jira pork. Oh Lord, August. And the music continue. The voice of Baron. Sweetness is your weakness on a Sunday.
Hey.
Oh Lord.
You doing all my life? How come I never met you before? Your sweet love cut my heart with a knife and have me begging for more. Like the sweetness of the honey from a honeybee, like the sweetness of the soda made by Rashoti. I wanna proclaim it to the world. The sweetness of finding you, girl. Touch me so you're sweet, sweet, sweet like a Julie mango. I say you're sweet, sweet. I want to know how it's sweet, so sweet, sweet, sweet like when Baron crooning. I say you're sweet, sweet like sweet pan on a Juve morning. Give me your sweetness. Your sweetness is my weakness. Give me your sweetness. Your sweetness is my weakness. Hey. Yo. Now when the heaven asunder and let an angel drop on, love hit me like lightning and thunder. I love I really can't do it all. Like a roadman from Location, I move you till you drop. This motion is sweet and tender. I don't want to stop. Sunshine kissing the morning dew. It never sweet as when I kiss you. Yes, you do. You sweet, sweet, sweet like a Julie mango. I say you sweet, sweet. I want to know how it's sweet, so say you sweet, sweet, sweet like when
November run through me. So you see, sweet like sweet wine on a Juve morning, giving me a sweetness. Your sweetness is my weakness.
Oh yes,
give me a sweetness.
Oh boy,
your sweetness is my weakness.
Sweetness on a Sunday. I got a couple more requests for some more Baron. Seems as though we're gonna stay in the Baron wagon for a bit.
Hey.
Sweet fragrance fill the air. I'd like to say good afternoon to all.
Your sweet love has lifted me high.
Once again,
way up to this track.
Let the, oh my gosh, the thing just went off. It just cut out just so you know. Oh. I guess he get vexed with me. The player get vexed with me. As I said before, I got a couple of requests for some more Baron. I'd like to take a moment to say good afternoon to Princess Nia. How are you doing? What's good? How's the family? Yes, folks, I'm not finishing you guys on the CCJ matters yet, you know. I'm going to be sitting here until 6 o'clock my time, which will be about 7 o'clock your time. Then I make way for Father Gong. Yeah, Father Gong will be back on as of this afternoon from 6 to 8, which is 7 to 9 Eastern Caribbean time. But until then, we're going to play some tunes. And after this one, I'm going to touch on a little more CCJ matter. So let's go. We on a bandwagon this afternoon.
Traveling in the heavenly road. I love
Once again, the voice of Baron. They call it the bandwagon. Boy, I don't understand how you can wake up late on a Sunday to cook Sunday dinner. You know what happened? You know what happened? That's what happened when you're sleeping leg in leg. I ain't gonna beat up on you too much. That means both of you belly full. So we go.
Soon as you are ready, leave the world to worry. Hop on, hop on. I'd love to take you for a ride on my soca water. I'd love to take you for a ride on my soca water. Up and down, round and round, onward bound, traveling the heavenly road. One by one, two by two, three. Traveling the heavenly road.
Each and every Sunday.
Love to take you for a ride on my soca wagon. Oh yeah. Give it. Down there, Lord, give it. Yeah. Till a day.
Yes, man. Like to say good afternoon to Jimmy and family. But I ain't beating up on the lady, you know. I'm only concerned about the hussy. You know what I'm saying? If she's sleeping so late, I know the man is a hard-working man, eh? I was just kind of concerned. But then I get to realize, you know, late sleeping doesn't occur by oneself, especially on Sunday. Oh gosh! Yeah, man. So for a moment, I had to correct myself and realize, yeah, man. As we continue with the Baron, I got one more after this one. It's so much, but I'm gonna give you guys one more. Then I gotta move forward.
I'm looking for somebody to spend the night with me. I'm feeling for somebody to keep my company. Somebody good, somebody nice, somebody sweet, 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 sweet. Oh Lord! I want somebody to hug up, somebody to squeeze up, somebody to jump up, and everything will be airy, 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 happy. I want somebody to hug up in the party, somebody with tempo, somebody with zest, somebody who know how to roll it up and to shake it up. Happy. I want somebody to hug up in the party. Right? Give me. Oh yeah. That's nice. Everybody I talk to is to share my point of view. Anybody I lean on will be someone just like you. Somebody right, somebody bright, somebody smart, 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 smart. I want somebody to hug up, somebody to squeeze up, somebody to jump up, and everything will
Voice of the Baron. Somebody. Everybody gonna look for things to eat. I gotta go look for food too. How that go for you? Watch me. How that go look? I need sustenance. On a Sunday, I need some sustenance in my body so I can do what I do. Yeah. So I'm gonna play one more Baron and then I'm gonna give you a little more facts on the CCJ aspect. All right, so this is not because I'm trying to tell you how to vote or where to cast your vote and if you should vote or don't vote. I am just sharing information with you as a people, for we have to guide each other positively. That's how I see it. So that's what I'm going to use my time today. It don't matter that I'm far outside of the mainland, but I am still connected to that mainland, that trial and state of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and forever will be connected and tied to it. Whatever happens down there, it's in my best interest, no matter if I'm there or not there. And I think every Grenadian should feel that way. It's imperative that we all, collectively as a people, no matter where we reside, share those sentiments. So, let this tune play. Let this tune play.
They love to cool when I sing them a soca tune.
Must take a time to shout to Lady Big Red on this track right here. Her favorites. I could just imagine her cutting a tile right now.
The girls in town say they want me to hear a crown for them, but I sing my song just to please all the folks around. They say, honey child, I want to see the barongo wild. I know you like to tease, and I know you could really please. And I'm singing, I'm the baron, they call me the sweet soca man. When I jam you, I know you will understand. All the boys in the town want to knock me down. Cause they know I'm the king of the action around. Hey.
I'd like to say thanks to Lady Fran for sharing, for liking and sharing. Once again, the voice of the Baron on a Sunday Jamboree.
Soca songs make them girls hips go round and round and round. They make me groove to see the way how their body moves. I feel so sweet when I see how they love the beat, my soca beat. Man, I start to sing, telling them I'm the soca king. I'm the baron, they call me the sweet soca man. When I jam you, I know you will understand. Hey. Give it. All the men in the town want to knock me down. Cause they know I'm the king of the soca around. Hey.
So we got 45 minutes more to go. Just music and some more information that I have. I find that it is imperative that I share with you my Grenadian counterparts, Grenadian Caracol and Pitsy Man Nick. I got a request for a David Rudder tune. And it's coming from someone that just shaking my head. I'm serious. I'm not saying that they don't like music and they're not supposed to listen to music, you know. But it's just the fact, the tune that they requested. It's Sunday afternoon, it's Jamboree time. All you sweet soca lovers on the outside. Yeah, man, it's Sunday evening, man, we're relaxing, you know, coming from church. You know, whatever we're doing, you know, some folks just utilize the day just to relax, kick back, don't do anything, you know, because tomorrow, God's willing, is another day. They got to go again back on the grind, you know. So whatever you're doing, I am glad that you're doing it with me. It might be just coming in, you're looking for something to eat, preparing, like in some people I know, just preparing Sunday dinner. You know, so forth and so forth and so forth. Whatever it is, you're driving and you're relaxing and enjoying an afternoon, you know, visiting loved ones or just going somewhere. You might be in your vehicle right now heading to the movies or something like that. All right? Well, I employ you and glad that you take the time to share this aspect with us on this Sunday afternoon. Boom, bam. I was talking about the CCJ and I'm not going to let up right now. I got to reach out to management. I think we should do a segment tomorrow afternoon right after the Genius. He finishes at 8 p.m. tomorrow. I think management, no, he finished at 10. Oh, what am I saying? He starts at 8 and he finishes at 10. Campesh comes on and then he is on and then, all right, so we're going to sort it out. But something I want to share with you guys right here. The whole aspect of the CCJ was to give the Caribbean people a voice and a chance to embrace their independence. But how can this be accomplished if we keep giving it to the Privy Council? Let us draw attention to the financial aspect of this matter. If the CCJ is to be put to use, it will be funded by its own Caribbean people. We would not have to depend on the funds of other nations that may later withdraw and enforce biased decision making in our courts. Furthermore, just imagine having to pay an enormous amount of money just to travel to the UK for a settlement to a case. Think about that deeply. What is the sense when the case could have been settled in the CCJ? The whole point of the matter is that trying a case in the CCJ will never amount to the price of the Privy Council. Moreover, the CCJ will give us a sense of well-being and justice. That is well said. Profound words. And we move on in song. The voice of Mr. David Rudder. Stiff waist man. Now you see why I was laughing, eh?
So we decide to go, we separate ways. The bush I gone to chill. Is your freedom you want to man? That way you get butter on your conscience still. Become a partner, Morris, come right in the forest. He come to give me the rake. How you nasty, my name all over town. Calling me a fake. You say I, Ebenezer, the sweet soca teaser. I coulda never whine. So how you think I get me fame? You're mashing up my name. The carnival long, I'm coming back down. I'm not going to stop until Ash Wednesday done. And when I get you, take that. Call me Ebenezer, the sweet soca teaser. It go be snot and tears when I hold on to you. The stiff waist man is here. You little wretch you. When you see I catch you, you gotta take what you get for lying on me. The stiff waist man is here. Oh Lord. Morris is a loyal fella.
I'm the stiff waist man right now.
Like that today. Loyal.
On the Sunday afternoon. Saying good afternoon to Mr. Samuel Jackson.
Tongue and scout around. Check out the whole Akure. Check out every place you know she does bet. Report to me right away. 2 days later in Soca Village, we see she in her red pants. She tried to run but she slip and fall. She get up and started to dance. Oh, you're taking front before in front take you. You see the fire in my eye. I is the man you know who could make or break you. You gotta pay for what you say. Prepare to wine till night, make the day. You little wretch, you take that. Call me Ebenezer, the sweet soca teaser. This is what you get for lying on me. The stiff waist man is here. Yes, you little wretch, you. And now I catch you, so you wouldn't shut up. Wine till you drop. The stiff waist man is here. Don't move, I tell you walk it up. Stand up there and walk it up. Don't move, I tell you walk it up. Stand up there, walk it up. Change gears, turn it. Yes, it, turn it. Don't cry, I tell you not to walk it up. Walk it, stiff waist man is here. Morris, bring me brandy and me golden seal, me honey and me ginseng root. I have a brand new brew in me black bag in a bottle mark bitter brute. For all these months I in the bush, I'm mixing herbs for men to try. Now I'm strong like hell, but Morris, you could tell if you touch me, sparks going to fly. Morris, look, the DJ looking kinda tired. Get a taxi and send him home. And like the band on jam, so you is the man. She gotta pay, she must be mad. I wouldn't lie, well I'll take it on bad. But now I have she. It's Connie Ebenezer, the sweet soca teaser. Woman, when you say what you want, you have to want what you say. The stiff waist man is here. How you can challenge Ebenezer? Oh man, please. This is what you get for lying on me. The stiff waist man is here. He's here, watch me. He's here. He's here. Call me Ebenezer, the sweet soca teaser. When you say what you want, you gotta want what you say. The stiff waist man is here. The little red shoe, now you see I catch you. It go be snot and tears, now I hold on to you. The stiff waist
man is here.
Nobody cry.
Oh, don't ask me why. Because the stiff waist man is here. If I tell you here, why you ask why again? We're going back to our main line of Grenada Kayako and Petit Martinique in the form of music right here, right now. Going back to the 80s with one of our esteemed artists in that era. This is the Flying Turkey. I'm playing this one for all my man friends. Hey, my gosh. All my Byron friends and them. There's a few I could call, eh? No name, no warrant. If you call your name, I go whistle. Yes! It's Sunday. We getting ready for work on a Monday. Let's go.
A big lunatic named Byron run away from the asylum. He say, how we hear Canada gon' be grand. How we hear they gon' have plenty bands so we could shake up and get up. Byron have no shoes on his feet and all he's doing is grinning and waving and only begging every DJ man that he needs. DJ Oi, DJ Oi, DJ Oi, DJ Oi. Just give him something to shake his waist, mama. And I said, okay,
oh Lord!
I lick the soca to shake
what?
His waist, mama.
This hour?
I lick the rumba to shake his waist. Now we walk it up. Now we walk it up.
I'd like to say welcome to Mr. Winston Small. Baldwin family, Long Island. How you guys doing today? How's the family? Imad.
Searching all about for Byron. Mama, I said today they gon' have real trouble because they have big injection needle. Byron started to shake and shake. He tell the doctors he wouldn't go cause African rhythm bungling in his brain. He only DJ and he start to beg him again. DJ Oi, DJ Oi, DJ Oi, DJ Oi. Just give him something to
shake your waist, mama. Just give him something to
shake your waist.
Oh yeah.
I lick little soca to shake your waist, mama.
Hey, ladies.
A little rumba to shake your waist.
Just give him.
Let me walk it up.
Oh, yeah.
Let me walk it up.
To all my madmen friends. I didn't call no name, you know. You WhatsApping me and buffing me for? I never call your name. A matter of fact, let me take the matter to the CCJ and see who go win. Let's take this matter right now to the CCJ. I could go online and file the case, you know. And I can bet you before tomorrow evening we have a judgment. And you go see who go win. I want to say good afternoon to my good buddy right here in the New York City area. Buffing me up. Why calling me a madman in front of your wife and children? Put the radio behind your back. Oh my gosh, I want to say a special good afternoon. Oh my Lord, hey, cuz. Hey, Cousin Simpson, what's good? How was the family? How is Auntie Betty and the entire household? I'd like to say good afternoon to the man of the house. Hey, Lester. What's good, my brother? Hope you had a great Sunday. I hope you had a great weekend. Little Amanda. The entire household, including JJ. Hey! DJ, oh. We go jump it up. It's a flying turkey. Name is this one is Byron. As I said before, I play this one. The representation of all my madmen friends is Zingo. You see, I didn't say madman Zingo, you know. I say Zingo. Oh gosh. I didn't say mad vibes, I say vibes. Oh my gosh. Each and every Sunday. Yes, family, once again, remember I'm taking the time today to place emphasis on the matter of the CCJ and the importance of it for our people of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And I'm asking you not to be misled once again. You did not listen to them when it came around March 13 on the election day. Now you're back in front of the polls on Tuesday for a referendum towards your Supreme Court of Appeal. It's imperative that you take your time. Think wisely. Think what it is to benefit you, the person or the persons of Greater Carriacou and Petit Martinique who do not have the funds in any way, shape, or form. If one of your loved ones right now were to get in a matter with the courts, and you know that they were unjustly prosecuted, and you know that if you could get it in matter in front of one of the bigger courts, the higher courts, they stand a chance of having that matter, or whole matter, thrown out. Think about it. Do you have $240,000 to go to London? Any one of the people who are telling you do not vote for the CCJ, do they have it to give it to you? And if they have it, will they give it to you? I beg to differ on that one. So let's think wisely, people. Let's think as we used to think in 79 to 83. Yeah, we used to think independently. We used to come together and make the right decision, not just for individually, but for us as a people. It is seen as the CCJ, that is, right? I'm just continuing to read on this matter right here, just to inform you, beautiful people. It is seen as a pathway for future generations, right? And they were making reference to the CCJ, Caribbean Court of Appeal. It will also be a necessary institution for our upcoming potential lawyers because it will provide recognition and success for them. Additionally, we are all living in an era where youths are no longer comfortable swallowing the status quo, right? The status quo. And they constantly question the actions of these high positions. Consequently, it is critical that in this juncture of our development as a Caribbean people, we establish practicable institutions that will provide opportunities for the future generation. And on the other hand, although there are numbers of advantages in making the CCJ a final appellate court for the Caribbean nations, there are also equal disadvantages. The instance on the matter includes the cost involved in the establishing and operating another bureaucracy, the bias in the CCJ code, the political interferences, as well as the unjust ruling. It is postulated that the long-term financing of the CCJ may be very problematic in a region that is still regarded as developing and where problems of the devaluation and the everyday struggle of recession that is presently slapping us in the face. The question of financing a court at this magnitude is not feasible. That's what some people are saying. What you got to understand, it is already paid for. It had been mentioned earlier on here by Dr. Francis Alexis and other heads, other people, the president, for instance, the past president of the CCJ. So Dennis Byron, who used to be a Supreme Court judge in London, let us know that this thing was already paid for. It does not have the influence, it does not fall under the influence of no political party, no political personnels, and no government within our region. They cannot decide or make in any way, shape, or form influence the judgment of the court. All right? Understand that. Furthermore, it is in the minds of people that with the present political atmosphere in our region, the replacement of the Privy Council by the CCJ is only the recipe for destruction. That fear that if the CCJ stands as a final court of appeal in its region, that there may and will be political influences in our courts. It is nothing further from the truth. Ain't possible. Ain't the truth. Don't let them keep telling you that. Don't let them keep telling you that the government of Grenada presently is only wanting you to vote for it so that they could turn around and utilize the Constitution of Grenada in any matter, way, shape, or form as they see it fit. Lie. Let's just call it what it is. Point blank. Lie. I know I'm outside of it, but I have been following upon it every day in every way, shape, and form. And I'm telling you, you would not understand until you needs a court of appeal, and then you don't have the money. Hundreds of Caribbean men and women are sitting in prisons throughout the U.S. right now and other parts of the world, outside of the Caribbean region. And you know why they're there? Because they don't have the money for bail. Simple bail. Trust me. And if they were another kind of skin complexion persuasion, they'll be out. But hey, that's another discussion for another time. Hey, DJ Saf, what's up, boy? Boy, look for you all over River Road. I can't find you nowhere at all, boy. It's like you know I was coming and you move out of River Road. That's no good. I really thought me and you was friends, Zaf. Zaf, I ain't understand. Zaf, what is that one, boy? Hey, Zaf, boy. Good afternoon to you and the entire family. Just decided to beat up on you, man. Just for a moment. It's been a minute. We're going flying turkey once again. We only have 23 more minutes, and then I gotta get out of here. This is Isabella. Boy, I go at GT looking for you. Trust me. I won't tell you where else I went to look for you, eh? But wink, wink. You know it.
Oh, Lord.
If you remember this one.
Everybody watching.
Isabella. Hey. Boy, I remember jamming.
She is a
right to this one. Boy.
Creation of the divine. Attractive and tempting, the life of the party. Only one thing puzzling me. Where she getting the energy to party so? Where she getting the energy? I want to know. The DJ start to play. Isabella break away. Don't know what to say. She jump above. The people shout. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. Making a scene, a soca queen. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. To drink a red, fly up she head.
Hiya, Isabella.
Hiya. She on the floor.
You on the nice, so man.
Hiya, Isabella.
I hope you didn't make ice cream. On a Sunday. Isabella.
Give them a taste, sweet wire ways. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. Stay in the groove, a soca mode. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. Anytime that she wave or smile, Isabella sending them fellas wild. She's spreading fire in Grenada for the carnival. Nobody could stop she at all. Every evening she gone, partying until dawn. In Fantasia 2001, where she getting the energy to party so? Where she getting the energy? I want to know. The way she looking bright, like she want to party all night. What? Girl, I know mine.
This hour? Oh Lord!
Hiya, Isabella, hiya. DJ Harrow, run the tempo. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. She on Cheetos with Comancheros. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. Down Melville Street, the burning heat. Hiya, Isabella, hiya, Isabella, oh. Isabella, oh. The madman by run, holding she hand. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. No Jean Marie, join the party. Hiya, Isabella, hiya. Isabella, why you behaving mean? Putting all them young fellas on the scene. She advertising, then refusing for the old and young
party so.
Where she getting the energy?
No one to know.
Well, let's back up the place, hoping to get a little taste from Miss Wire Waist. The bartender ball, don't stop at all.
It's fire.
Isabella higher,
higher. Oh gosh.
Behaving well, I so catch higher. Isabella higher.
Want to say good afternoon to Tony Tone.
She want Frankie.
Ah, Ina's the genius.
Isabella.
I see you made it home, brother.
Little whiskey.
Long day, long day.
She tipsy. Higher Isabella, higher Isabella, oh.
You know something? Just a realization right here. I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the clock, right? And I'm aware that I'm an hour behind the Eastern Caribbean right now. So it's 5:43 here, it's 6:43 over there. Right, for you guys. They say, well, the clock going back, you'll get an hour sleep. With the hour. I sleep, but I ain't feel as though I get an hour sleep. Like I benefited with an extra hour. Wait, boy. How? It didn't seem to happen. Only thing gonna happen, you see, when we wake up in this part of the world, right? Tomorrow, God's willing, when we wake up to go outside to go to work, you're leaving when outside dark. You're coming home when outside pitch dark. Trust me. So, the only time you're seeing sunlight is if you're working and you're working on the outside. Trust me. So, if you're working, doing construction, you're working on the railroads, you're driving, you're in the transportation business, you're working in restaurants, somewhere where you could actually see the outside atmosphere. It's the only how you're going to see daylight, If you're in a big building where, or in some kind of confined building where you don't have, there's a lot of people who work where they don't actually get to see the outside during the working hours. All right? They won't see sunlight or maybe until the weekend when they're home. Think about it. So think of how blessed you are in the Caribbean. You ain't got to deal with this whole aspect of time change. All right? Believe me when I tell you, many of us will leave home in pitch dark in the morning time, and we're coming back home in even darkness, more darkness in the afternoon. Okay? Darkness throughout for many of us. But it's the life we chose. Yeah, man. As they say, we didn't send and call all year, but all you're here. So grin and bear it. So if you have the opportunity right now, folks, to make a decision that is beneficial for you and your future generations, as we're talking about justice, think wisely. Make the right decision. Because I want to tell you this, I'm going to say this and I want to say it now. Because in the next 14 minutes, I'll be out of here. When the Privy Council shuts down, you have no choice. You will have no other choice but to join the CCJ then. That's it. Okay? So just let me just make the right step in the right direction while we can early. The early bird catches the worm. Yeah. So let me line up to catch the early justice worms. Oh gosh. This is Flying Cloud. Watch me. It's Whoop Whoop on a Sunday. Yes. It's all about Grenada, Carriacou, and Pitsy Martinique. And the rest of the world. We love you guys.
You just tell me so. She said no, honey, no.
want more. I wish I got more time, but I gotta go. In the next 12 minutes, I'll be out of here. Once again, the voice of Flying Cloud. The name of the track is called Whoop Whap. On the Sunday Jamboree. Pretty soon, I'll be making 2 steps to the left, 2 steps to the right, and 2 steps right over here. But until then, we vibes in. It's tune after tune.
Yeah, well, if you sweet, Randy Jamin, tell me that I should move to the rhythm. I see you have the feet, grand action. Just show some of busy girl explosion. Then you go catch me, honey. Baby, you go make me fall. But when I grip you, honey, I don't dizzy up at all. She said, no, honey, no, I don't want the loving, so she tell me, baby.
The maddest radio station on the island, CRFM
89.5.
She tell me, baby, what, you had me on the floor, honey. What, you got me through and through, baby. What, you had me on the ground, darling. What, you turned me wrong, that wrong. She said, no, honey, no, I don't want the loving, so she tell me, baby, give me more, honey. I say I want more, darling. I say give me more, baby. I say I want more, give me more. I want more.
I got a listener listening right now all day in London. And I found the tune that was written kind of wrong. The premise about her visit to Grenada back then. It wasn't just her alone, eh? It was a entourage of folks out of London coming home for Carnival. Coming up next.
Please,
hey,
with my loving.
Yeah, Millie, Malive.
Honey, I had to please your desire. And I'm willing to give what you ask for. I mean, if you want it bouncy, honey, you getting it so. And if you want it smutty, darling, you don't mention more. She said, no, honey, no, I don't want the loving, so she tell me, baby. She said, no, honey, no, I don't want the loving, so she tell me, baby. Whoop, whoop, you had me on the floor, honey. Whoop, whoop, you jam me to and fro, baby. Whoop, whoop, you had me on the ground, darling. Whoop, whoop, you turned me round and round.
We only got 7 minutes to go.
Give me more.
I gotta put up haste. I gotta pick up haste on a Sunday afternoon. So before I get out of here, I got 2 tracks to play. This is one of them. This one goes out to our London entourage right now.
Oh gosh.
This is Darius.
Oh yes.
If you remember this one, Zaf, you too young for this. You ain't know nothing about this. Forget that. Somebody told you about this. You're like Sheldon Scott. Or you see got milk on all your face.
These Grenadians spent years in England. Then he come back to settle in his native land. After spending some years in this land of his, he realized he can live at ease. He starts living in fear. He just can't take it here. So back to England he must go. He can't take the jam no more, because every day they
joking.
Yes, man. He can't take the joking.
Good afternoon, Christopher. All they're doing is
joking. He's up on it joking. They're joking your backside, they're joking you out, they're joking you inside, they're joking your mouth, you hear? I want everybody to understand this joking thing must done.
Oh yes! If you knew about it or you know about it, let's shake it. 5 more minutes. Shake it out. Remember, folks, going out on Tuesday and do what is required of you to do.
In faith,
exercise your franchise, your right to vote.
This joking thing is a big threat. Don't pray to mash nobody too, because your life may be no more. No even policemen, civilians joking them. The PM better watch his steps, cause afraid they go choke him next, because everybody joking. Afraid of his joking. It's too much of joking. He's up on it joking. They're joking the neighbor, they're joking the friend, they're joking the boyfriend. When this thing will end, you hear? I want everybody to understand this joking thing must done.
What?
Oh Lord! What? This hour?
I know you're enjoying this one, but I gotta cut it short. I got to cut it short. I'm so sorry.
You say even in your workplace, yes man, this joking thing is a disgrace. Especially them ministries. Oh gosh. Some workers there are not at ease. Even your co-workers joking you without cause. Sometimes the boss does joke you too by playing games with you, because every day they joking. Yes man, I can't take this joking. It's too much of
joking.
He's up on it
joking.
You're joking the workers, you're joking them bad.
Hey Princess Nia, you wake up late, you know.
You hear?
I've been here since 2.
Everybody to understand.
So technically 4 hours on this Sunday Jamboree. You want a whole 39 minutes more. Won't be able to do that for you, you know. Because Father Con comes up at 6. But before I go, I want to leave our Grenadian people with a powerful song. Our Groovy King for 2018. For we are gifted, we are talented, we are loving, we are peaceful people. And we just got to remember that each and every day. I'm Spice from the Immortal One saying peace out to each and everyone. Everyone have a blessed rest of your Sunday afternoon and have a productive week. From me to you, peace, love, unity. And let us guide each other to prosperity.
a vibe.
So until then,
Someone we alright. It's grooving all night. We feel it.
forward ever, backward never.
Who bring it all our vibes? Every man is gifted in his own right. So sing out and make your hands and they fly. Because we gifted, yeah. They cannot be in a play. But the people demonstrate. They come out to perform. Because we gifted, yeah. Somebody tell them for me. They can drain me energy. But there's no time at all. We are life in me. Get them, take that from me. Call me king of Groove. I got the remedy. Let's jump up in harmony. Happy for all of them. Let's believe it. Motivation, all of us need it. We check, hook and you will feel it. Rhythm up. Imagine a life without music. How will you feel? Man, just like a fish out of water. How will you breathe? Once we feel the heartbeat, we have no choice but to flood the street like a heavy downpour of rainfall. With momentum, look out for we set this stage, 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 like as I reach the place, catch a vibe. Hey, someone we alright.
Oh Lord.
Well, who bring it all our vibes? Every man is gifted in his own right, so sing out and make your hands and take flight. And we gifted, yeah. Cannot be in a play, but the people demonstrate. We come out to perform. And then we gifted, yeah. Somebody tell them for me. They can drain me energy, but there's no time at all. We are life in way. Take that from way. Call me king of Groove. I got the remedy. Let's jump up in harmony. Happy for all of them. Let's believe it. Motivation, all of us need it. We check, who can you will feel it. From you could see me and react, that means that we give. I know you're hearing me, so respond, yes, all of us give. God, and it's time that we honor that. We are so give. Everyone is gifted in this own right, so sing out and make your hands and take flight. Because we gifted, yeah. Cannot be in a play, but the people demonstrate. We come out to perform. Because we gifted, yeah. Somebody tell them for me. They can drain me energy, but there's no time at all. We are life in way. Take that from way. Call me king of Groove. I got the remedy. Let's jump up in harmony. Happy for all of them. Let's believe it. Motivation, all of us need it. We check, who can you will feel it. Rhythm up.
Tonight's a tribute to the late great Mike the Sparrow.